are shoes that were designed to evoke love and have messages of love written on them. That warm purple velvet is so reassuring and brings us back to memories of maybe listening to Jimi Hendrix, maybe thinking about Jimi Hendrix, or where we were in our lives when a particular Jimi Hendrix song played. It makes us feel a range of emotions and induces recollections of a number of different kinds of memories. And that activates your limbic system in your brain. So if you were to take your finger and put it in your ear and keep poking about 2 inches over, you would hit your hippocampus and your amygdala. Those are responsible for memory and emotion. And the Grand National. When I first saw this boot, I wanted to know if somehow John had consulted with a physicist on this, because it looks like it defies the natural laws for being able to walk. It doesn't look like there's a heel. And I wonder, how is that done? How does it work? What would it feel like to walk in these? And wow, they're tall and gorgeous. How long would it take me to lace those babies up and get them to fit just the way I want to? What would it feel like to be walking down the street in those boots? This incites curiosity and incites your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for higher order thinking, such as learning, decision-making, problem-solving, creativity, curiosity, all of the fun things that we like to do that make us really human. So fluvogs don't just affect one part of our brain. Fluvogs activate a variety of areas across many parts of our brain. So when you walk into a Fluvog store and you are inundated with these beautiful wearable works of art, your brain is lighting up like a Christmas tree. This is what we were talking about before with the anterior cingulate cortex. We don't, that's really deep inside your brain. And this is what's referred to as part of the salience network. So this is a part of your brain really deep inside, and its sole purpose is to ask, is this information distinctive? Is it important? Does it stand out? Do I need to know about it? And my answer to all of those questions is a resounding yes to Fluvogs. These are not your ordinary standard shoes. These shoes are special in a variety of ways that makes them distinctive and activates our brain's salience network. You could just live life with ordinary shoes, and that would be okay. Plenty of us know people who do so. We have these people in our lives, but this isn't us, and this isn't how we choose to live, and this isn't how we choose to see the world. Instead, we feed our brain from a literal buffet of shoe options. Ta-da! Surprise! You're making a cameo today. Now, the important thing about this is that you are what you feed your brain. The information you take in directly relates to how you see the world and how you interact with your world. So you could see the world through the lens of somebody who wears those more basic shoes, or you can see the world through a Fluvog lens that your brain has curated over a number of years. And all of these important cognitive processes that are activated by Fluvogs are really critical for creative thinking, for curiosity, and confidence. You saw some of the ways that Fluvogs activate your brain and stimulate thinking. And curiosity is one. We often have questions about these shoes. We're so interested in them. We want to know everything we can, and they make us think. And when we ask questions, that's engaging in curiosity. And curiosity is absolutely critical, because curiosity is how we overcome roadblocks in life. So by taking in Fluvogs, appreciating them, looking at them, wearing at them, you are stimulating your brain's ability to be curious. And you're actually flexing this curiosity muscle. And it's growing stronger and stronger. And that's going to help you in other areas of your life. You'll be able to overcome borders and overcome barriers and overcome roadblocks, because now you can see things a little differently and you're used to asking a lot of questions. Let's do a little experiment. Everybody's awake, everybody's had their coffee and tea, we're all ready for it, okay? Yeah? All right, so we're gonna divide the room, right in half. And people on this side, you're going to be group 1. And people on this side, you're going to be group 2. So right now, I would like for everybody from group 2 to just close your eyes for a moment. And we'll be on the honor system, so no peeking. And if you're in group 1, you can keep your eyes open, and I just want you to look at the slide above for a moment. Okay, now group 1, please close your eyes, and you are now on the honors. There we go. Okay, everybody has their eyes closed. Now we're on the honor system. And group 2, I would like you to open your eyes and take a look at the screen. Okay, group 2, close your eyes for a moment. Now I would like everybody to open their eyes and unscramble the letters you see up here to make a common word that you know. This side, what is it? This side, what is it? Why do we have 2 different answers for the same exact set of letters? Do you remember when I said that we are what we feed our brains? This is a primary example of that, and how quickly your brain responds to information in your environment. Group 1 saw this image of a dinner plate, and group 2 saw this image of a flower with petals. And this shows you exactly how quickly your brain responds to any kind of information that you feed it. Now, what this looks like in your brain is these are actual neurons. These are from a mouse's hippocampus that helps it form memories. And these are the bodies of the neurons. And then up here, there are little tree-like structures, and those are called dendrites. Now, when you make really interesting connections across different parts of your brain, just like we saw earlier, then these neurons actually connect. And these dendrites actually branch out and talk to each other. So by engaging with fluvogs, your brain is used to neurons at the back of your occipital lobe making connections with neurons in your frontal lobe and talking to one another. And by the way, you can actually grow new dendrites. Your trees can grow new branches, and this is what's known as neuroplasticity. This is one way you can grow a better brain. This is an actual human neuron in your hippocampus. And when these neurons connect, it looks like this. Again, actual neurons. In a human brain, the abstract representation is you have thousands and thousands of these making connections with each other all over your brain. And how many of you completed the survey that I posted? I would like to thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that. We had 69 responses from people all over the world, a lot of people from Canada and the US, and we also had Dublin, Ireland, responses from people in England, and even New Zealand. And in that survey, there were several categories of items that I had listed, and the instructions were simple. For each category, just name the first word that comes to mind. And here are the Flummunity results for animal. You'll see a couple of things. When we ask people to name animals, can you guess what the top 2 they name are? Dog and cat. And that's what happens in any population of people who we give this task to. And dog and cat are here too. And cat just edged out dog, 32% to 30%. One person even wrote dog and then in parentheses, sorry cat. So they were clearly really torn internally about this decision. The cool thing about flu vloggers is that we see responses that we don't see in the normal population. We have magnetism, and guess what? Magnetism might also be related to these shoes that are pretty magnetic. We have koala, leopard, and we have manatee, sloth, giraffe, gerbil. We have lover, because somebody, their first thought when they heard animal was lover. These are our people, flu vloggers. And lover in that person's brain and in my brain and yours might also be associated with these mini lover boots. So the idea is that your brain creates these really robust networks of information. And you might associate animal with lover with mini lover boots. Everything is connected. And the more connections you have in the brain, the more you have to draw from to ignite creative thinking. Creative thinking comes when you're able to make connections and form associations amongst items that might not have any business being together, like animal and lover. But as flu vloggers, this is what we do on a daily basis, because this is how we've chosen to organize our brains, because we feed our brains flu vlogs. Flu vlogs also help grow confidence. This is actually my very first pair of flu vlogs. Yeah. Yes, flu vlog sisters. And I bought them when I was in graduate school. And when I was in my PhD program, I had one step left before I could graduate and get my PhD. And that was to defend my doctoral research, my dissertation research. And I knew that I was going to be staring into a wall full of curmudgeonly professors, would be the nice way to put it. And it was up to them whether I passed or not. And if I passed, I would be Dr. Collins. And if I didn't pass, I would be a very, very sad person. And I needed shoes that would carry me through that. And a friend had turned me on to flu vlogs. And this was the pair I chose, with those F soles, those thick F soles, and that bright red color. I knew they would give me confidence to firmly stand in place and stand my ground and be able to say my piece with knowledge and confidence. And I did. And I graduated. You probably have a memory about flu vlogs helping you boost your confidence too. And just like my memory from graduate school, your memories gather together over time. And when you need to boost your confidence, you already have all these experiences of great things that you've done in your flu vlogs that make you feel like $1 million every time you wear them. And all you have to do is think about those memories of making great moments in flu vlogs, and those memories will boost your confidence and help propel you forward to do your next great thing. This happens with two key pieces in the brain, your frontal cortex and your hippocampus. This is memory and thinking combining to form really rich representations of what confidence looks like for you and how you can take that confidence with you wherever you go. The other great thing about confidence is that it's contagious. When you blow on the edge of a spider web, it ripples throughout the entire web. And that's what happens in your brain with confidence. One memory of confidence begets another, begets a third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Just find that one you need to anchor onto and build from there. If you don't have confidence already, the other great thing is you can borrow it. I love Munsters, and I love Lady Miss Kier, and I love Madonna, and I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be as confident and bold as they are. So what did I do? I went out and bought a pair of Munsters and borrowed their confidence. And it worked. I don't know how you can not feel confident when you're wearing Munsters. They're amazing. These are white matter fiber tracks in your brain. And these are your brain's information superhighways. These are actual bundles of axons that carry electrical signals from one neuron to the next. And when you use your brain robustly, when you engage in this creative thinking and this confident building and curiosity, you build a better brain. These information superhighways actually become thicker and information travels easier across your brain. So that whatever you do, wherever you go, you're improving your brain while enjoying a really healthy shoe habit. And I'm convinced that if we were to scan all of our brains as fluvoggers, this is what they would look like inside. I want to thank you all for coming today. If you have any questions,
let's hear it again for Dr. Heather Collins. This whole time I thought that I knew what we were doing at Fluvog. I've clearly been mistaken. I also have a couple of legal questions for John now. Anyway, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Heather will be upstairs. You're welcome to go upstairs. If you do have questions for you, and I'm sure some of you do, please head on up. There's a seating room in behind there. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. We're back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. We're just about to get started with our next speakers. Awesome. Also, your mom called. She said, put your shoulders back. No, wait, that's my mom called. She said, put your shoulders back. I got it now. Thanks, Mom. So next up, we have two of my favorite people. One of them makes incredible rock and roll music. The other one makes incredible rock and roll shoes. They both have rock and roll husbands, which is amazing, and the similarities don't end there. But to talk about Fluvog's fashion and music, please welcome rock star Olivia Jean and our Chief Design Officer, Arabella Barros. Check, check.
Hi. Hi. Is mine on? Yes, I think I'm on. No.
Check, check, check.
Yeah. Hello. Hi, everyone. I think Steven forgot to mention that we both like the color black and pink a lot. I'm really happy to be here today. We are launching a very special project that we've been working on for how long?
I think it's been about 6 months.
6 months? Yeah. We are super excited. I think we have the other ones around.
Yeah.
So, John Fluvog always says that, like, he wish our design team and our designs function like a band. And I love that because I really believe we make more than shoes. Like, we make shoes that connect with people in so many levels. So it's not just a piece of footwear. They connect in like music level, like so many references of like art and design and architecture and so many things. So when we met Olivia and started following like her aesthetic and her music, that was just like, okay, we have to do something together. And it's been so fun and smooth. And I'm gonna let you talk about your career and like how music happened for you. You started doing music very early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was 7, that's when people realized it was very weird. Who else was called weird? Yeah, but that just means everyone else is basic, so we're good. Yeah. So yeah, Fluvog and I started working about 6 months ago on this boot, and it was so easy to work with Fluvog because they knew exactly what I wanted. So there was not a lot of back and forth. It just happened. They knew exactly what I wanted. And it's a just very classic. You can wear it with a ball gown, or you can go to the grocery store.
And you can rock on stage.
Yes, you can. Yep.
You can be a cool mom.
Cool mom. Yep. Cool moms.
Cool mom.
Yeah.
So we've been chatting a lot the last couple of days about how inspiring it is to like see young girls like Paloma, who is here, that I just met. That when we are like little girls, like 7, 5, 10, I don't know, and we start to design, play guitar, sing, and how important it is to have icons that we can get inspired and like build our own sense of aesthetic, and how that like it doesn't really matter if you make music or fashion. There are all these like avenues that cross. Can you share like which ones are your fashion or music icons that inspire you? Since you...
Who else got inspired by Austin Powers? Do I have 90s babies? Who's a 90s baby? All right, cool. In the B-52s? Anyone? All right, cool. Yeah, the 60s. In Detroit, we were very inspired by the 60s and go-go dresses and such. So, yeah, that's always been my thing.
And so do you think music inspires your fashion sense of style, or the other way around? Like
I think that the fashion is, it just happens.
Yeah.
And it's really nice when people come up and like, little girls are dressed in black and pink and with the bangs and everything. No, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we were also talking about how like Olivia's merch and like her album covers and everything, it's so like her stickers and patches. So like, have you ever thought about starting your own design line? How is like
I design all of my merch. So yeah, I do graphic design and painting and all that. So I do everything myself. I'm a control freak, and I'm okay with that. Not many people like that, but that's how it is.
And I heard you sew and like design some of your dresses.
Yeah, in high school I would sew all of my clothes. It was so much fun, and they didn't look amazing, but a lot of curtains, whatever I could find, pillowcases.
And in terms of like process, like creative process, like we at Fluvag, we design 2 collections every year, like a spring and a fall collection. So we have that deadline guiding us, and the seasons, and we need to have boots and sandals, and sometimes like we have collaborations as like a fun in-between project, and that's one of the reasons we love it. How is your creative process in like creating a new album or a single or music? Is there a timeline, or like what pushes you to like a new project?
People want timelines, but I don't usually adhere to their rules.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I write when I feel like it. Mm-hmm. And then once I am starting to get stressed, I put it down. Yeah. It has to be inspired. Like, I'm not going to force myself to do things.
We were also chatting about like how important it is to trust your intuition and just like self-trust. And that's why I think it like Fluvogs, I like to believe that they empower, they're like empowering pieces of footwear. So like helping people to find their self-trust and like follow their intuition and believe on who they are. And in the process of creating a music, creating product, like what are the things that you never compromise? Because people try to tell us that things are not going to work and people are not going to like it or it's not going to sell, but we have to believe. And
yeah, I struggle with that a lot. Living in Nashville, a lot of people are trained in music, they play by, the books. They know harmonies and all that crap. So usually in the beginning stages, they're like, no, that doesn't make sense. But then in the end, it makes sense. So I was telling people yesterday, my slogan is trust me. And yeah.
Trust the vision,
Yeah.
trust the process.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you tell us like your favorite things about the boots? And
Yeah, so like when I'm on stage, I need something to hold the ankle in because it helps me not trip and embarrass myself. And then the cool thing about the boot is that there's a zipper. So if you have 2 minutes to get on stage, zip them up.
And the laces, like I like, so Olivia is rocking one of each, but like we are launching today 2 colorways of the Olivia boot. One is the black with the pink lining and pink laces, and the other one is the pink colorway, which is a limited edition. And Olivia also brought some like goodie bags with your albums. So I think that's a special surprise.
Yeah, enjoy. Yes.
So yeah, one thing that we always love doing is like having these features where the boots look really badass, rock and roll, like square, but then they have this like squishy, like internal platform. This is the same construction as our Jimi Hendrix collab boot. So if you have that one, you would know how it fits. Like it looks like a higher heel than it feels like it is, right? And
yeah, there's a platform, so it looks high, but it's very cozy. It's actually not. That.
So it was important to be comfortable but rock and roll.
I'm all about comfort
cute.
and convenience. Yeah.
And also like we always like I said, to have layers. So like the boots is like this combination of like rock and roll doll, and we love that. Yeah.
Who collects Monster High dolls? Thank you. Yeah. All right.
My daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other like musicians do you like when you do collaborations in music or fashion? Like how would you choose, like how does it happen? Like other than Fluvog, how do you pick people to collaborate, like-minded creatives?
Well, I've always been used to being the weird kid. So people come to me. I'm like, what? What? I actually got to work with the B-52s a couple times. So the universe has been nice to me. Yeah. And when I was younger, I would dream about owning Fluvogs. So this is surreal for me. Yeah. Probably the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. Thank you.
Are we doing like questions from?
Ask us things.
Yeah.
I have to ask, if you were a Monster High doll, what would you be? Vampire?
My favorite one is the Cyclops with the 8 arms. But they stopped making them so scary, and now they're all tame. So I protect my Monster High dolls. Yeah, they're up on a really high shelf. Yeah.
To repeat the question. The question was if Olivia was a Monster High, which one she would be? Yeah.
Tell me who I am.
Dracula.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelly. Kelly's saying that we have a similar style, like aesthetic, like the colors, the hair, and she's asking how was it to work together. Like we mostly work remote, and we didn't meet in person until like 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. But I kept telling to my team, like, this is so exciting, but also kind of weird because we have the same hair and colors and everything. And
I gravitate, like, I gravitate towards bangs.
Me too.
Like in my band, I always have someone with bangs.
Yeah.
And then I had a bassist, and she asked me to cut her bangs. Then I accidentally cut her bangs. Like, oopsies, sorry.
And we were
But I wasn't
showing
sorry.
each other pictures of ourselves as kids. We had bangs always since we were kids, and also we all trim our own bangs, so that's another similarity. Yeah,
It's a sensitive subject.
yeah, but the color pink, and that's a point of conversation with Zandra, with Anna, with Fluvog, and with Olivia. Like, it's so nice when like a color represents like the identity, and it's never the same shade of pink. So like, I'm so happy to see now Olivia's blazer and the boot, because we picked that color obviously to match her album cover and everything, all remote, and it's perfect.
Yeah, like I said, it was so easy to work
Yeah.
together because I think that we understand
connect, yeah.
each other pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do 2 more questions.
So now that you're launching these new boots, are you launching a music video to go with it? Something new?
Well, I guess I have to. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about a video clip yesterday.
Yeah, video clips.
Now
Yeah.
we just want to make more shoes.
Yeah. More pink.
I have a question. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I understand that these boots are available in Gastown only this weekend. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
On Monday,
Okay.
I think, and the first 20 purchases from Gastown of these boots come with an incredible gift bag put together by Olivia, including 3 albums and a whole bunch of other stuff. Am I on the right? Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
giving you everything.
Thank
I
you,
was really
Steven.
excited putting them together. Yeah, enjoy.
Okay. One more question? Oh, okay. Okay, everyone wants to go to the store now to buy the
Yeah, come
boots. I think
on.
that's a good wrap. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. So this Flummunity Fest is full of like special editions and special products that we are launching. Last year, Judy and I were on stage talking about the fall collection, and I have the pleasure to chat with Anna today about her resort collection. So Anna and John collaborate on shoes since the 90s. And I don't know, like it's been like a fever of return of the 90s lately. And everyone is looking back at like vintage Fluvogs. We are bringing back some vintage Fluvogs. And this boot was always like something that the design team was always obsessed about. And then John wanted to make a reissue of that boot. So Anna, can you tell us a little bit about your inspirations and like
Sure.
how that collection?
Yeah, so the first time we did them was 1996, and the collection was kind of pastel colors. There were pink ones, baby blue, black, and they matched some prints that we had done, like kind of prairie prints in these long prairie dresses. This collection I wanted to kind of base on denim, and everything is either denim blue or black. So then I thought, oh, it would be great to do these boots in denim. So John sort of refined the shape a little bit, gave it more of a signature square toe, and I love the little platform on it. And then we revived the same butterfly that we always had, but we kind of recolored it to match the collection. So you can see that everything kind of the color story repeats. The styles go so well together with the embroidery that we had done for the collection. And I think you can get a definite like 90s vibe from this, but I think it's very today as well. And we had also done a great little Mary Jane the season before, and we decided let's do them also in the denim, and we appliqued the butterfly on them. So now you have like a little kind of baby doll shoe and a great boot available.
And then how was it back in the 90s compared to today for like sourcing fabrics and like trims and patches? What changed?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different time. Back in the 90s, most of my resourcing was all American. All the cotton was available from the United States. In fact, the canvas colors that we did, I believe, were probably stock colors. It wasn't, you didn't have to do special dyeing. And the collection itself, again, most of it was sourced in the US. That all changed through the late 90s, through the 2000s, and now everything is kind of imported. Even denim, like all the cotton fabrics that used to be available here are mostly imported at this point.
And most of your garments are produced in New York in your studio, and like you have staff that works with you for a long time, so that keeps things very on brand and with the true Anna Sui DNA, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of my goals was to keep the manufacturing here in the US. It's harder and harder. We work within the garment district, and most of the contractors are just a block or two away. We have a lot of resourcing still in that area, but not as much as we used to. And my design room and showroom and shipping room, they're all within one facility, which is very rare these days. Usually people do a lot of manufacturing overseas, ship from overseas. But I was really determined to keep it all together in one place. And I think it's for me, it's easier to control, but it's also, I'm trying to save that whole like ecosystem that we had of manufacturing. I've had a lot of staff members with me a long time, and Judy's here. She's been with me 18 years. My main designer, and yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's kind of like a little family, the way the Fluvag family is. Yeah.
Yeah, the boots like were also handmade, and like with the textile and the patches, so the same patches that Anna had on the garments, we have on the boots. And we love doing collaborations with Anna. I would say that like if Fluvag had like a clothing line, it would, so we don't really have to have one because it's such a perfect match. Yeah. So in terms of like your identity and brand identity is so strong and so cohesive, like how do you keep like that strong DNA, but also keep it current? Because it's also very current and it speaks with like young generation. And
well, one of the things that's happened is my nieces all grew up and they're like in their 20s, and at like Christmas time they would like start raiding their mom's closet and taking out the old pieces from the 90s, and they were all excited, like, Auntie Anna, why don't you make this again? Oh, we need to have more of these. And so that started me thinking about like looking back, and also the fact that I did an exhibition. It started in London at Zandra's museum, and it was called The World of Anna Sui. And that was really the first time we looked back at our archives and looked at a lot of those old styles, because after every show, after every market, we just packed everything up and put it away. So just reminiscing and seeing those pieces again kind of inspired me. And then this whole trend of 90s kind of brought it to full fruition. And we've been looking back. Lots of retailers are asking us to recreate parts of our 90s collections. I did a collaboration with Marc Jacobs a couple times now, where we revived some of the 90s pieces. And then there was a retailer opening ceremony. They actually asked me to recreate 10 pieces from the 90s when we did the exhibition in New York. So I think it's been in the air. I think a lot of people are requesting it. And I think even these boots, like people on the internet were saying, why don't you make these again? And so it just kind of made everybody's wish come true.
Yes. Do you have any advice for like young designers that are We met Jonathan yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I knew since I was like 4 or 5 that this is what I wanted to do, not really understanding what that meant. So my whole childhood and teen years are probably similar to Jonathan's, where you're just trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out how do you get from here to there. And I innocently thought, seeing in a fashion magazine about Parsons School of Design, and that you could write away for the registration catalog. So I did that. And then I read somewhere that there were 2 young ladies that graduated from Parsons. They went to Paris, and Elizabeth Taylor opened a boutique for them. So I thought, okay, if I get to Parsons, that's the key. And that was my whole thing. Like that's all I focused on, was getting to Parsons, keeping up my grade point average, making a portfolio, and kind of staying in touch with the school. And luckily I got in Parsons, and like that's how I ended up in New York. So I think that having that dream and that focus is what really got me there. It wasn't common sense or what the reality was. I think that it was just kind of beyond that. And so that's why my life motto is live your dream, because I don't think I would have gotten where I did without that dream.
And we can see that on your collections. You have you do more than 2 collections a year, right? So the resort is, say,
the third collection.
The third collection, Your process, is it always the same, or it changes sometimes from one season to another?
Yeah. You pray that you have an inspiration and a theme, but it doesn't always happen that way. So, but we're constantly looking at new fabrics, and hearing about like new innovations, new color stories, and kind of weighing out like what's going to be good for Anna Sui. Sometimes it starts with a fabric. Sometimes I have a definite theme. Last year when I was supposed to be in Toronto, I got COVID, and I ended up watching back-to-back Agatha Christie's. And then I thought, bingo, that's going to be the collection. So I did my Agatha Christie collection, and we called it Who Done It, and it was very British. And we showed it in at the Strand, in the rare books department, so it looked like we were in a library. And that all fell together that way. Other times it's a struggle. Like right now, I don't have a theme for my next collection, so I'm just looking at fabrics, looking at colors, and trying to figure out things, and trying to see as much inspiring art and exhibitions as possible. And I went back to see the Anthropology Museum here in Vancouver, which just blew me away last time I saw. And so it's somewhere in the back of my mind, but I don't know what it is yet.
Do we have time for questions? Any questions for Anna?
Hi.
I'm a very large-footed woman, and I know there are also men who have larger feet that might want to wear shoes that are a little more vibrant. And so I'm wondering, at some point, will you be making larger-sized shoes?
So that's a Fluvag, not for the collab, right? Or for the collabs. We do have some of our shoes come in like a larger like size range, not all of them. It is an issue every season, and like depending on the product, because it involves like investing on tooling, like molds for the heels. And so sometimes we do the first trial, the first deliveries, and they don't come in a large like size variety. And then depending on like requests and sell through, then the following season we'll add. So
I love the slipper and the embroidery, and it really reminds me of the Chinese slippers that we used to have, and I love that. And I just wondered, how much should you give a nod or incorporate it into your own cultural heritage to your design?
There's been collections that have been directly inspired. I did one that was like Anime Wong was the inspiration. But I actually was born here, and I'm kind of a product of pop culture and the American suburbs and, you know, television and rock and roll. And, you know, it's just like, I'm a mix of all of that too. So it's usually all mixed up together. A lot of people think my color sense is very Oriental Asian and you know, so it's just, I don't know. I'm kind of a combination of so many things. Yeah.
I'm borrowing this one, but what's your favorite swear word?
Swear word.
My mom would kill me. Come on.
Those same lines or something completely
Oh yeah,
different?
thank you. You know, we're actually relaunching the cosmetics. We've kind of returned it all to what we call Sweet Black. The packaging is all black, kind of like the first perfume bottle with the carved rose with the black lacquer. There's some really great products. All of our most successful products, including like the box of the purple powder. We have a great eyeliner now, and the container is like kind of a carved rose with like a long brush handle. Even the lipsticks all come in that kind of carved black case. So you can see it on our website. We don't have a big distribution. Like we used to have a huge distribution here in Canada, but we don't anymore. So we're working on that, but you can get it from our website. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. In the back.
You mentioned seeing the Agatha Christie movies and being you mentioned the Agatha Christie movies and that inspiring your collection. Do you, when you're trying to come up with your new collection, is it usually does it just happen to you like that, or are you always searching for something?
It's you never know, and sometimes you have a definite idea even from the season before, and other times you're just praying up to the last minute that you can make a story. Right now I'm praying.
I really admire your steadfastness in keeping your studio together in the garment district. And I'm just curious if, I was always hopeful that the hipster generation was going to bring craft back in a big way. And I feel like they have to some degree. How's the neighborhood doing? Is your sense that there's a strong community again?
You know, I think that the economic hardships have helped the area continue. Between the economy and the COVID has kept it there longer. But of course, as soon as you turn around, like they're talking about rezoning again, and once they rezone, that's it. It's gonna change and become like Times Square is gonna be bigger than ever. You know, like we already have like so many restaurants that took over spaces that used to be garment related. You know, and so it's a matter of time. I think there's no real invested interest. And I don't think that the community is that organized where it had been pre-COVID. They were like monthly meetings and people really making an effort. But I don't see it anymore. I don't see enough people. There's no stronghold for it. So it's sad. It's really sad. And, you know, like all those crafts are disappearing. It's harder and harder to find good sewers, good pattern makers. Like people don't manufacture in the US, and it's unfortunate. So, you know, we're always looking for skilled workers, and it's harder and harder to find. Yes.
My youngest son went to art school in Dawson City, the School of Visual Arts. In his first year, he got a little overwhelmed with a lot of the projects that they wanted him to do that weren't art related.
Right.
He's never been a great student. So a 5,000 word essay about an artist is really hard for him to do. a sculpture or a painting is just second nature for him. He's very disheartened and doesn't want to return for his second year. Are there any obstacles that you've overcome that might, I could give him some pointers to maybe help it out?
Well, what field does he want to go in art?
Actually, he wants to be a dancer.
A dancer.
Yeah.
I think, well, I mean, in my case, I left Parsons after my second year and started working. And I learned a lot more working than I did in school. I think, a lot of the arts, it's really almost like an apprenticeship. You really have to start from the bottom and really learn everything about the business to understand the business. So maybe he could join a dance troupe or, connect with a dance troupe. And even if he's just, helping them, I think however he can get his foot in the door that way. Because I think traditionally you don't need to go to a university or a college to be a dancer. You just have to make the connection. So I'm not from that world, but I think that's really seems to be the way that he could get in there. Hi.
Anna, I have one. I have one virtual question, then we'll come to you. This is from Danny on YouTube. Anna, do you find the constant influx of new fashion trends to be exciting or limiting?
Oh, I love fashion. So I can't wait to see all the new collections. I think I'd be up at first thing in the morning. That's what I look at. It's like what the latest show is, what the latest trends are, following all those websites and things. So that's why I do this. I love it. Yeah. And I wear other designers' clothes too. I have a lot of Zandra's clothes.
Hi. What are your honest thoughts on AI and how it's negatively and or positively impacting the industry?
Honestly, I'm not involved that much. I know that it affects all of us now. I just went to see this incredible exhibit that Norma Kamali did. She spent months kind of downloading her brain and really, really absorbing AI and created a collection in AI. I really admire her for that she was fearless and just kind of embraced it. We all know it's going to take over. But I mean, I'm old fashioned. I like handicrafts. I like touching stuff. I like creating with my hands and actually using a pencil and, but I think it's so exciting for the new generation.
That was the last one. That's it. Okay. You're gonna have more of Anna in the afternoon with Steven, and so thanks, Anna, so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not sure if this is on. We'll give it a shot. Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you, Anna. That was incredible. I don't know if it was mentioned, so I'll ask another one of those questions, but those two styles, 4 SKUs are in the Gastown store. Was that already relayed clearly? In the Gastown store today and tomorrow only, starting at noon today, and then they'll be online on Monday. If you are virtually watching, there is a sign up on the website to be able to sign up to be the first to know when they do go live. But very limited numbers, and I'm getting a face now that suggests that last part might not be true. It's just one of those days, right? You just got to settle in. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with Kelly and Zandra. So there's fresh coffee. Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yes. I thought it was. And they do shoes as well.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome again. I don't even know what time it is here.
No worries.
We are doing great. Everybody, if I could just have your attention. Our final speakers before lunch I also just have to say while I'm here, it is overwhelming how fabulous you all look. I really think it is an incredible looking room. Thanks again to Anna Sui and Arabella. Those were great. And Olivia Jean, amazing. I think we communicated all the things about those collabs that are launching. Just before lunch now, we have saved a very special treat for you. Coming up next is Dame Zandra Rhodes. She's here to discuss her debut memoir, My Life in Fashion and 50 Objects, with Kelly Robinson, founder of KMR Consultancy. Please give a warm round of applause.
Hi, everyone. We're so honored to be here for the third year in a row in Canada with our Fluvog family. Zandra and I were actually just discussing this morning that our collection just keeps getting bigger and bigger of Fluvog shoes. So yeah, we're very much avid fans. I feel like Zandra doesn't need much of an introduction, probably to most of you. She has been in fashion, pioneering fashion for the past 55, 56 years. And funnily enough, she had never written a memoir until 3 months ago. So as you can imagine, it's full of lots of juicy stories. And we're just here today to discuss a few of them juicy stories with you. We're only talking for about 15 minutes, so we do have a slide just to give us some pointers on some of the most memorable stories in Zandra's career. So we will get to it. This is a good one. This is actually the first chapter in Zandra's book. Do you want to go ahead?
I had a very, very exotic mother that when I was at school, I used to say, please don't look different from all the other mothers when you come, because she always looked wonderful, absolutely wonderful in like platform lizard skin, green lizard skin shoes and wonderful hats. And then one of the first stories in the book is the fact that we were going to get what was called the workman's train to London. So it was this cheap train to go up at Christmas to do Christmas shopping. And she used to pin her hair up in this wonderful curl, spray it silver, and then spray it with hair setting lotion. So we do that, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We're on the bus to the train station. She's going, my head does sting. My head does sting. And she sprayed her head with fly killer spray instead of setting lotion. So, but she had to live with it all day because we weren't going to miss the day's shopping in London.
So that is starting the memoir strong with a story like that, I think. Fabulous. And this is a little bit further on in the book. So do you want to talk about your breakout in terms of...
I trained as a textile designer. So people would say, well, if you're a textile designer, you can't do dresses. And I always imagined how the dresses should look. And I'd met 2 mad Ukrainian-American models in London who said, Zandra, you've got to go to America, you'll make your fortune. So I got 2 people who'd been at Royal College with me who'd taught me how to make patterns, because as a textile designer, I hadn't learned all of that. So I hand printed everything and made the collection. And I had a letter of introduction to Diana Vreeland in American Vogue. This was 1969. And I was dressed in I had red lipstick curls drawn on my face and a chiffon scarf, hippie style, and my chiffon tops and blouson trousers in my high white booba boots. And I had the letter of introduction to Diana Vreeland. And so I went into American Vogue, and she was the most exotic person I'd ever met in my life. She had her hair dyed black and all shaded at the edge of her face with rouge. And then she completely raved about my collection and said, I've got to photograph it on Natalie Wood. And then she picked up a phone and she phoned Henry Bendel, the top boutique in 57th Street. And really that was the beginning of my career as a dress designer.
And I think it's really safe to say that that's kind of two really poignant women who inspired you and really continue to inspire you as well through your work. You talk about Diana and obviously your mother a lot, and it's really lovely to hear.
She was very inspirational. She always encouraged me to keep working, but she never knew because she died before I went into making dresses.
Yeah, and that's your mother you're talking about.
That was my mother, yes.
Yeah. Right, so
that's Karl Lagerfeld.
That's a fabulous photo there of Karl and Zandra. Were you at the Met Gala?
It was at the Met Gala a long while ago. Most of the book, there are 50 odd different objects that influenced my life, and like one of them was in fact Karl Lagerfeld, who was always absolutely wonderful to me, and we became great friends, and I had wonderful lunches with him and this exotic lady, Anna Piaggi, in Paris, and so I used to go regularly to Paris, and I was doing print collections originally for a company there when I was first introduced to Karl. So we had wonderful times, and this is at the Met, and in my book there's a drawing of this lovely fan that he handed me. That's one of the stories in the book of how I knew Karl.
Lovely. I was just about to say, so with every chapter, obviously there's 50 chapters, there's also a sketch of the object that Zandra's been inspired about in that chapter. And we've got...
Well, that's Freddie. I had a phone call in about 1974, and I was in a rickety little studio that you climbed up all the stairs. I didn't have a shop then, and it was Brian who phoned up, and he said, I'd like to come and look at some clothes for us to wear in one of our concerts. And I said, well, you have to come in the evening, because I didn't have a changing room or anything in my little 3-story attic-y place where I printed on the first floor, and then I did designs on the next floor, and then the top floor was the cutting room with the pictures. And then when I put the phone down, I had to ask the girls who worked for me what he played. Because even if you've got pink hair, you don't always know what's going on in reality. So he came round, and this was a wonderful top that I picked off of a rail, and it was a wedding top. And I said, put it on and see how you feel. And then he put it on in front of the mirror, and then was totally transformed as he moved around and was looking in the mirror. And so that was really the top that I made for him that everyone remembers, because it's the one he really looked lovely in.
It's beautiful. I think we can all agree that it probably hasn't aged much, and we'd all wear that now.
When I went to the concert, I went with my wonderful friend Dougie Field, who I collected his paintings, and we were at least 10 years older than most of the audience in those days. I felt a bit ancient.
Fabulous. Oh, it's a great picture.
Oh, that's really, yes, because I suppose I'm always remembered. I went to China in 1979 when they first opened up, and everything I saw was navy blue or army uniform. No one had any jewelry. It was, and then when I came back, I thought, I must do a Chinese collection. So I did a Chinese collection in red and green, and then thought, well, I've got to dye my hair to fit the collection. I said red China, but pink was the color that fitted. So pink is how it stayed. And I don't intend to go to gray.
And it's always a specific hair color brand that Zandra uses called Crazy Color. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's quite big in the UK. And it's a certain shade called Pinkissimo, which I think is really very fitting, obviously.
So it stayed that color.
It stayed that color. And another tip, and we wouldn't recommend any of you doing it, but Zandra actually sleeps in her hair color with a shower cap or over the top to get it that colorful. But as we said, discretion, I wouldn't recommend it.
I do put a black, I take a black towel with me when I go.
That's
so
it.
that I don't, because I hardly take my makeup off. I lightly wash my face in the morning.
And she has great skin, so I don't know what that's about. Fabulous.
Oh, in let me try and think. When was it? 19 late 80s, I think it was, early 90s.
Yeah.
My great friend Andrew Logan, a sculptor, said, "Zandra, you've always saved the clothes you've done. You should do a museum." And I said, "What do you think I am? Made of money?" He said, "I've seen this warehouse that will be perfect for you." So I found I could sell my house in Notting Hill and buy the building. I thought I'd get a grant. Of course, I didn't. And we lived in squalor in this warehouse. And then gradually, I then flew. I thought, well, I'm not going to have something that's too extreme architecturally, because in boring London, it's not going to get past. So I chose a Mexican architect, Ricardo Legarreta, and I flew him over first class on my mileage tickets. And I said, this is an up-and-coming area. It wasn't then. They built the Shard later. So anyway, he agreed to design my lovely pink and orange building, which was his only building in Europe for a long while. There's now just one. But
it's beautiful. It looks like a little slice of Mexico City in the middle of London.
And Anna had her exhibition there, which was fabulous.
Yeah. And just to add, it really is the first and only exhibition in London that really highlights the UK fashion and textile scene. And, you know, through the decades, we just recently had a Bieber exhibition there. It really puts the fashion scene on a pedestal, and it's very important.
We've got a very good exhibition at the moment of
Lee
Bowery and different rebels from the early 80s.
It was late 70s, early 80s. It was around the Blitz Kids and all the club culture there. So if you're ever in London,
do come, say hello.
Come through. Fabulous. Just to note that we don't have copies of Iconic with us. However, you can get them on Amazon.
And we were working out that I could, you could probably send the demands to Fluvog, and then I could send over stickers
with signatures on
to come to do that.
Thank you.
I also should add that, in fact, because I was approached, I had this wonderful protege on English Vogue who came to me and said, "Zandra, we should do a book." And I actually found it very, very, it's been cathartic, but it was very, very difficult. You know, I had I didn't appreciate my father, and she managed to get all these stories out of me that made me be able to live with my background, which
she's a fabulous writer. Ella Alexander, she co-wrote the book with Zandra.
And we sat there we'd put a day aside, and she sort of asked me all these different questions. And then it was only through her talking to my sister's granddaughter who'd been doing, is it Ancestry?
Yeah, DNA.
You know, because my father, there was a terrible murder and his mother was murdered and everything. And I'd always pushed it aside. And so it's been quite amazing going through this whole thing and about one's life and discovering
like a therapy
things.
Session almost.
It was a bit like
Fabulous. I think we do have time for a few questions if anyone has any.
Preview a naughty story for us.
A naughty story.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, one of them really was even facing some of the, coming to terms with some of the boyfriends I'd had and thinking, do I admit that?
Zandra, why don't you quickly just tell the story about what we were discussing before we came on stage, the Diana Ross story.
Oh, Diana Ross story.
This is a good story.
I had a very chic shop in London for about 15 years, just off of Bond Street, very elegant. That I don't work looking elegant. I can't work dressed up. I dress up to come to here, but I'd just be in a pair of old trousers and an old top that I didn't want to ruin. And I forgot what I'm talking about.
Diana Ross.
so anyway, Diana Ross was doing a show in London, and I was called in because she bought an outfit and they wanted me to come and help fit it. And she had a lovely pleated Zandra Rhodes satin jacket and a long red chiffon dress, looked gorgeous, and a gorgeous turban that we did. And I went to the end of the party at the end of the show. So then maybe 6 months to a year later, I'm in Beverly Hills with my girlfriend in her lovely Cadillac, and we're driving along in Beverly Hills in one of the quiet streets, and she said, "Look, there's Diana Ross getting out of her car. Go and say hello to her, you know her." So I get out of the car and I maybe take 6 steps up the pathway, and this voice says, "If you come 1 step nearer, I will shut this garage door down on you." So I get back in the car. So first of all, she'd seen me in a chic turban and all dressed up for the shop. And here I was in LA, and I had pale green hair that looked a bit like straw with feathers stuck on the end, and a white silk dress and high white Bieber boots. And anyway, so I come down for breakfast the next morning, and my girlfriend and her husband are sitting there, and they said, "We got a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning from Diana Ross." So she came round for breakfast that morning. But I think she was recording with Barbara Streisand, and she must have said, "This weird girl with this green hair and feathers."
The penny must have dropped. Any other questions at all? Anna?
I love hearing you talk about how you do your prints. I love hearing you talk about how you do your prints. And my favorite print is the feathers. And, I'm always bugging you about those
You've
feather
got
prints.
the best. She had an exhibition, gorgeous exhibition. I saw it. But you added to it in New York, didn't you? And
Yeah,
it had
with my inspirations. And
she
you
said,
were
"Oh,
one.
Sandra, you might like to lend me a few dresses." All of her samples of my stuff are far better condition. But they were done. I work with a sketchbook. Like while I've been here, of course I can't see into the harbour now, but I did draw all those wonderful red cranes when I could see them the other day.
Yeah.
And I like to just draw things that I see that end up as prints. So the ones that Anna's got, I went to, at the time it was called the Museum of the American Indian, wasn't it? On 180th Street in New York, and I couldn't get over these fantastic, the way the culture had put feathers with wonderful embroidery onto things, and I did lots of drawings from that, and it ended up as a great big collection, although Anna said they've now been removed from sight, so I don't know what's going to happen for us. A lot to learn about these things.
Yeah, that's really my favorite. It's so beautiful, that print.
I love doing that collection. Yeah. And then I did a cowboy collection before Calvin Klein and Ralph Lauren when I went across America in a camper. But just going to wonderful shops like this shop in LA called Nudies. I don't know if it's still there, where the wonderful embroidered cowboy uniforms with the arrows and everything were fabulous collection. I did ultra suede, and I did that one in the Roundhouse in London with a whole lot of cowboy ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we just had one more at the front, and then we can go. Oh, she answered it. Fabulous.
I was just wondering how someone would go about starting to do fabric design, because I have a bunch of designs, but I don't know where to take them to.
I don't know how it's sad now with all this whole digital thing. You see, I'm trained as a textile print designer, but I'm sure, there are such wonderful handicrafts in Canada. When I went up the coast by Halifax and saw different things like the rug making and all those things, that you could probably do stenciling, you could do hand painting on fabric. I think the main thing, and to this audience, it's wonderful because you're preaching to the converted, because, everyone's got a different pair of shoes on. everyone represents life differently. And I think that's the excitement that we must make sure we mustn't lose in life. I think that the other thing is, in fashion, I think it's fabulous if you see someone and they wear something old and something new, so that we're not using up the world's resources, but we're putting a different face on it. And we come here to be inspired.
Yeah.
You know, to just see you all and see an audience that everyone's different and everyone has something enthusiastic to say that makes life keep going.
Lovely words. Fabulous. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
If I give that to her.
I mean, we could listen to them all day, I know. Just as a level of applause, how are all the speakers this morning? So thankful that they were all able to make it and share with us. And the good news is we're not done, so we're going to take a break now, and afterwards we have Tara Ray Moss, and then we have a panel with Anna, Zandra, and John up here. So think of some good questions. The swear word one is funny, so we can maybe try that again. Just a couple of announcements before we break. I've got great news. It's sunny outside now, so true story. Yeah. So we'll need you to exit the building when we're done here with these announcements and find lunch somewhere. Doors will reopen at 1:15. We just have to reset. It's going to be a completely new vision when you get back. Just kidding. Now, a couple of other announcements now. A reminder, as I mentioned yesterday, at 3:15 there will be a luxury transport vehicle going to the Sonny Kitsilano store. Now, at some point in the afternoon, there will be a sign up for that. There are 50 seats. It's first come, first serve. It will leave out of this exit here, and it will come back and pick up anybody else who wants to go as well. And rumor has it, John will be welcoming you on that bus and taking the ride with you. So if you want to do that, that's great. There was one other thing. Tattoos, right. So the tattoo sign up will be after this mic turns off. It will be in a corner of this room. There are 30 slots available. Again, the actual tattoos will take place in the Gastown store between 3 and 9. 30 slots between 3 and 9, and the sign up is in this corner right here. Thank you for your patience this morning. We had so much fun, and we'll see you soon.
I'd like to text you back. Yes, please.
You might still get there, I'm not sure. Hey, Kelly, do you have a time preference? I don't know that I'll be able to find it, but if you had one. How about during the event? Sorry, I'm just gonna bully my way through here. I'm sorry. 1 second here. Watch out for that chair. Sorry.